Hello, welcome again for another presentation. I'm Dr. Malimi Kazi, and today our presentation will be about course design aspects and principles. And let me now start sharing my screen. So as I said, our topic is course design aspects and principles. So here, what you're seeing is is part of the integrated framework for learner experience design by Dr. Conceição and her colleague. This framework identifies 5 design aspects for online course design, and these are the aspects we are going to discuss. The aspects helps course designers and educators to focus on important aspects which will facilitate effective learning in the online course environment. As you can see, there are 5 aspects which they identified: course structure and interface. The second one is assessment and feedback. Another one is social interactions. And another aspect is learning activities. And finally, content interactions. These aspects, they play important role in designing the learner experience for online courses. And as you can see, at the center of these aspects, you see the 4 dimensions of learning, which are cognitive dimension, emotional dimension, social dimension, and behavioral dimension. We will discuss each one of these aspects in the following slides. Starting with course structure and interface. This aspect has design features that are mostly influenced by learning management system such as Canvas, because through these systems, now you create the course structure and interface. This aspect is the medium through which course content and social interaction happens. The online course structure is about the organization of course-related content into units, lessons, modules, etc. The learner interface is the visual medium between the learner and the technology-based learning environment. The interface displays content through a variety of page layouts with a specific look and feel. The page layout contains clickable items such as menus and navigation. The second aspect is content interaction. This aspect deals with the design of course content, material, and instructional for instructional purposes. Instructors can represent content synchronously or asynchronously using various media. This aspect, it involves the work of an instructor creating, organizing, and presenting content online. Content can be presented to learners in different formats or forms. For example, written documents, videos, podcasts, and etc. Well-designed course content helps to create effective course content interaction, which allows effective engagement with learners and promotes deep learning. The third aspect of course design is learning activities. Learning activities needs to be designed to accomplish high level of learning objectives, such as analysis and application. By employing new digital technologies, online learning activities can offer optimal level of challenge, active learning, and learner urgency. The activities can be purposefully designed to engage learners at cognitive, emotional dimensions of learning. Another aspect is social interactions. Social interaction aspect of online course design includes technology-mediated interpersonal communications between learners and instructors as well. Social interaction occurs through discussion forums, emails, chats, etc., which relates to subject matter. These interactions can provide mentoring and guidance while building instructor-learner and learner-learner connections. These interactions promotes engagement and deep learning. The use of personalized communication is one of the techniques to improve social interactions. The next aspect is assessment and feedback. Learning assessment is a vital part of the learning experience design process. Learning assessment should be embedded in the course content, learning activities, and interactions. Assessment can be formative learning assessment, which takes place throughout the course online. And they provide learners progress and achievement information, which are needed for learners to improve and be engaged in their learning process. Feedback includes any messages from an instructor. It can be formal or informal. Also, it can be in response to a learner's action, or it can be just a communication initiated by an instructor. The way instructors design and send feedback in an online course environment impacts learners' motivation and self-confidence. Now let us move to learning experience design principles. So we are done with the aspects, but the 5 aspects which we have just seen, they are integrated through various principles which we are going to see in the following slides. The five principles guide the design of learning experience on each aspect of course design. These principles help educators and course designers to always put learners at the center of the course design process. And also, they help learners, they help to achieve learner-centered course design. So, following the principles which we are going to discuss more on the following slide. The first principle is cognitive design principle. This is all about designing learning experience for cognitive engagement. The second principle, emotional design principle, designing learning experience for emotional connection. Next, behavioral design principle, designing learning experience that connects knowledge and application. Next one is social design principle, designing learning experience that support the social needs of learners. And finally, integration design principle, designing learning experience by integrating the 4 learning dimensions which I mentioned at the beginning. Now, these principles help educators and course designers to always consider the learner in the design process. We are going to see some techniques of implementing each of these principles in the following slides. Starting with cognitive design principle. This principle focuses on designing learning experience for cognitive engagement. Some strategies to implement this principle includes presenting complex content in small portions to manage cognitive load. Another strategy is selecting appropriate media format for effective learning. Another strategy, creating intuitive interfaces, menus, and content structure, which it can be easily navigated and accessed by learners. Another strategy is promoting learner content and learner-instructor interactions. And finally, is providing cognitively challenging assessment and feedback. These are the feedback which the learner, the instructor provide to the learners. The second principle, emotional design. This principle is about designing learning experience for emotional connections. Strategies to implement this principle includes incorporating aesthetic and the visual appealing features in the online course interface. Another strategy, integrating motivational elements that allows curiosity for learning. This, for example, could be maybe using encouraging or some sort of emojis which can engage or stimulate emotional aspects of learning. Another strategy is using personalized communication style. This, for example, can be when communicating with a student, you can mention their names in that email to make it personal. And even when writing comments or feedback on students' assignments, it can be good to mention their names so that you make the comment personal. Another strategy for implementing this principle is providing instructor feedback regularly to inspire learning. And finally, writing learning objectives in a way that can spark learning. Third principle is behavioral design principle. This principle emphasizes designing learning experience that connect knowledge and application. Some strategies include creating content that provide retrieval, practice, and scaffolding. Another strategy, providing learning activities that involve active learning. And the third strategy for this principle, designing learner interface that allows easy access to course materials. And another strategy is integrating knowledge and the skills application in a social learning activity. Social design principle. This principle refers to designing learning experience that support the social needs of learners. Some strategies for implementing this principle includes creating an intuitive and personalized interface that foster social interactions. Another strategy, establishing a personalized, safe, and open social climate. And here I'm talking of learning climate, like learning environment. Another strategy, promoting deep learning through social engagements. And also another strategy, connect learners to content, instructor, and other learners. And finally, integration design principle. This principle insists on designing learning experience by integrating the four learning dimensions. Some strategies for implementing this principle includes stating the relevance and the interconnection of learning activities and assessment. Another strategy, including the four dimensions of learning into designing content units, learning activities, and assessment. Another strategy, incorporating content that uses multiple media format. And finally, integrating social interactions with content modules, within content modules. And that is it for today. Thank you so much for taking time to follow on this presentation. If you have questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll be happy to assist you. And this presentation is based on the book by titled Designing the Online Learning Experience, Evidence-Based Principles and Strategies by Doctors Conceição and Howles. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.